We're military, so bouncing around from house to house. We never really gotten to make a home ours, and we'd put a lot of thought into what we wanted, and when we met Troy, he seemed to hold that same priority in getting this thing done right. So when we would go do these interviews, the kids were a part of our interview process. Not that we had some kind of secret agenda to it at all, but it was something that we wanted this to be a family house, so we would ask them after every interview what they thought, and you know, what they thought of the builder himself. And most of the time when we would sit down with a builder, they would kind of push the kids off to the side and say, hey, can they play on an iPad or stay out of the way? And they'd start talking to us, and it felt like a business transaction. With Troy, it was, he showed up in flip-flops and a t-shirt, which was nice and casual, like we like to be, and introduced himself outside on the property, and introduced himself to our kids first, and then with us, and we'd talk with them, and it was all very comfortable. And at the end of the interview, we got into the car, and we turned around to the kids and asked them what they thought, and they both said, "We really like Troy." And that was important to us. This is going to be our dream home, our final home, after bouncing around from location to location for so many years. This is going to be it. So we wanted to make sure it was everybody's dream. We were in New Orleans when this whole build was taking place. So I think we got to come out maybe 3 or 4 times over the time that they were building the house. So it was so important to have it wrapped under people we trust and that make right decisions. Coming out here and seeing that final product when the kids could see the pool and it was full. I think I still have pictures of that when we got here, of just the kids. That was one of the first things they wanted to do, was jump into that pool and kind of enjoy it. And it was really nice because it honestly turned out in a lot of situations better than what we thought it was going to turn out to be. We had our ideas very ingrained. I mean, this was a house that we planned for 5, 6, 7 years before it started, and the final product was even better than what we thought it was going to be.
One of the other things I really appreciated about TA French is, since we could only come out here a few times since we were building remotely, is that they did all of their finishes, all their selections at the same time. So we came out at the very beginning of the build process, and we did the selections, the interior, the exterior, everything, paint, light fixtures, tile, all within 3.5 days. What was really nice about that is not only did you get it all done at the same time, but everything was fresh in our mind. So I think it resulted in less changes because we knew the tile matched the granite, because I had just seen the granite and I knew it went well with the tile and with the paint and with the light fixtures. And having it all done at the same time not only saved us time, but it also kept everything fresh and apparent and made it work better, I think, to be able to have that all compressed down instead of, oh, this week we're going to choose tile, and a couple weeks from now we'll choose plumbing fixtures and we'll choose light fixtures. I think that how they do it compressed like that is huge. Probably because you can remember everything, it also results in less change orders. Because Shay knew how important it was for us to stick to a budget. We were always on her about budget, 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 budget. And
Shay was our budget fairy.
Yeah, she was the budget fairy. And she was able to get everything in the budget we wanted and to be able to stick there. And she told us at the beginning of the process, the less changes you make, the less likely you are to go over budget. So if you can do all of your stuff together and not do the changes like, oh, I decided I didn't like that light fixture, I don't like those plumbing fixtures. If you don't make those changes, then you're more likely to stay on budget. So I think for them, having it all compressed together also results in less change orders for them. So it was part of their process. That was great. Yeah.
And they send somebody with you for all of this, because it sounded really intimidating to me to try to figure out which granite would match with which tile, which would match with which paint. But the representative that came with us knew exactly what would work. And so it was nice for me to narrow that all down. So one of the greatest things about T.A. French, still living in this neighborhood to this day, is I remember when we met Troy the first time, he walked us through his property, one of his other properties that they were building, and he showed us how clean it was. And he had a lot of pride in the fact that he has a guy that comes around, and that's what he does. He just keeps his construction sites tidy. Well, what was it, maybe a year ago that you drove through the neighborhood and you saw Shay's car up at the amenity center? Mm-hmm. And you talked to her, and what they had done is Troy had apparently taken all of his employees off early Friday night and had them all come down and help clean up the neighborhood, just the trash around the neighborhood, just to tidy up the workspaces in and around. Not just his work sites, just in the neighborhood. And
there were quite a few employees out there. Yeah. That's what they did all day long, is instead of working, they actually, and it was just not the subcontractors, but the T.A. French team came and cleaned up our neighborhood, and it was amazing. They got tons of bags of trash and all the stuff that unscrupulous people, I guess, dump when they're not supposed to. Troy cleaned it all up. Yeah, they had a barbecue actually. He cooked
afterwards.
For them. So.
And no, still, when he builds on the streets around here, you can always tell his sites are cleaner than the rest. And now that I'm a homeowner and we've got construction going around us, I appreciate that, because I don't have trash blown into my yard, or don't have to worry about all those other details. Don't have to worry about nails in the road when T.A. French is out there, and that's a huge deal. And so the fact that he puts that much effort in there is a big deal.
I think that with all the people that we've interviewed and all of our friends that we've seen build in this area, that T.A. French is above and beyond the best builder out here, just from everything from the cleanliness of their job site to their follow through to the design process. Everything about them has just been fantastic, and I can't think of anything negative to say about them, because it just was such a positive experience from start to finish. And even having been in the house for 2 years, their follow through on warranty is just incredible. Our friends don't have the same luxury we do by being able to call the builder and say, hey, this isn't working right, this isn't a normal thing. Say, okay, no problem, we'll send somebody right out. And they do, and they show up on my doorstep, and it's all better. I would say that, for me, Shay is just, I know she's always on, but she's not just a salesperson. She always made me feel like I was her only client. It didn't matter what she was doing or what time I called or texted her, even on her days off or when she was on vacation. She always responded right away, and she always made me feel like I was her only client. And I know that was not the fact, but I always felt like that because she cares so much about her clients and them getting the product that they want.
Yeah,
She does. She comes over for dinner sometimes. She came to my retirement party a few weeks ago, and she's a fantastic person, but she's also a really good businesswoman. And
still a friend after the whole thing. It's almost like inviting my older sister over is what she reminds me of, and it's nice that when you sit down and you have that year-plus long build time, from planning to completion, that relationship is strong enough that she's still a friend afterwards, even though she's moved on to the next house to build. But again, that's why we picked T.A. French, was the people.